Hello, welcome to Mama Sue's Kitchen. I normally wouldn't get on again today, but I wanted to share something with you that's really good, and I thought if any of you might want to make it for the Super Bowl game tomorrow night, it's an easy dip and it's different. So that's why I wanted to get on today and show you. It's called a bacon Swiss dip. And you start off with a package of cream cheese, the 8-ounce package. And then it calls for a cup of grated Swiss cheese. Now, I wouldn't mind buying the already grated, except this melts better if you grate it yourself. And since this is a hot dip, I'm going to grate it myself. So, we want a cup. I've used this grater before and people ask me where I got it. And it is a Pampered Chef grater. I have a niece who sells Pampered Chef, and I've had this grater for quite a while. What I'm going to do is kind of measure it as I'm grating. Okay. I know my followers from up north are getting a lot of snow. It's kind of a dreary day here, but it's in the 40s, so we're not anywhere near getting what some of you are. One or two more passes through the... Okay, I think that's going to hit it. We'll make sure. Okay. And these measuring cups were given to me, and they're Pioneer Woman, and they have them at Walmart. I think they're so pretty. So that's a cup of grated Swiss cheese. Now, I don't think I'll be able to mix it with the spoon, but I'm gonna see. I was thinking that I might could, but you've got to also have a half a cup of mayonnaise, and I think that's gonna help to get it all mixed together. And it's your mayonnaise of choice. I'm a Bama girl, but I have found that Duke's mayonnaise is the closest thing to Bama that I have found. Okay. Sorry. I forget that that's loud when it happens. So what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to have to use my mixer. And that's okay. I've got it ready. But before I do that, I'm going to, it calls for 2 tablespoons of chopped green onions. Now, these are little green onions, and I'm not going to care if I get more than 3 tablespoons because I love onions. So I'm chopping away at these. This may be about 3 tablespoons. I love the blades in mine, the green blades. Okay. This is going to be right at 2. It may be a little bit more, but that's okay. I'd rather have more than not quite enough to give it that onion taste. So, yeah, that's going to be more right there. get my mixer right here. And get every bit of it out. You know, we're not watching the Super Bowl tomorrow night, but for those of you who do, I know it's always fun to watch a ball game and have good snacking foods. So Harold and I are going to eat this today. Okay. Now, if you wanted to make a lot of this, you would double the recipe. But this recipe is enough for us. And I have this small Pyrex. It's not a 9x13. I don't know what it is. It may be like a 5x7 or something like that. I have lightly sprayed it. And I'm going to put this in it. Okay. And I'm just gonna spread it out. Before I started making this, the very first thing on the recipe, and you'll see it, is it calls for 8 slices of bacon that is fried. So I halved mine, and so I have 16 halves, and I'm gonna crumble these up on top. That's why it's bacon Swiss. I guess you were wondering, well, she said it was bacon Swiss, and I don't see any bacon. I wanted to remind you that I try to always put my recipes, my printed recipes, on after the video. So that means it's gonna show on top of the video when you're scrolling on my page. But they'll be on my page under my photos. There's an album called Recipe Cards, and that's where all the recipes that I have listed you'll find. Now see, I have sprinkled the bacon all on top. And the last thing that I'm going to do is I've taken about a little over half of this package of Ritz crackers, and I'm just going to crush those. And I have melted a half a stick of butter. This is not as much as when I make my chicken casserole and all, because this is smaller. But I'm going to put this on top of the bacon, this buttery mixture. Yesterday I couldn't get Scout over here, and he's standing right there. All right, hope you can see. I'm just gonna sprinkle this on top. I I have preheated my oven to 325 degrees. And I'm going to cook it for about 20 minutes, just until it's bubbly. That's all I'm gonna do. So, I'm gonna put this in the oven, and I'll be right back. I set it, my timer, for 20 minutes, and when I take it out, I'll be back. Okay, 20 minutes, I took it out of the oven, and it's still, hold on. It's going to show you what it looks like. It's bubbly inside. I'm going to take a little of it up. Oh my goodness. See that Swiss cheese? While I talk a minute, I'm going to let it cool before I put some of it in my mouth. This recipe is an older recipe. It comes from a young teacher who was teaching at our school. Her name is Denise Williams, and she brought this to one of the events the teachers had, and everybody just raved over it. So Denise, we're using your recipe today, and I think that you're going to really like it. Okay, while that's cooling, let me give you one little tidbit. Yes, I do still have cookbooks, and I have more coming, but I have plenty, and I'm trying to keep them shipped as quickly as I can. But if you're wanting to know how that you can order, go to my page, and the very first post of the page is information on how to order. And yes, I do take checks or money order. My verse today that I wrote in my journal was from 1 John 4:16. It says, "And so we know and we can rely on the love that God has for us. God is love. Whoever lives in love lives in God, and God in him." One of the things I wrote on my own, it wasn't from 1 John, but I said we must have love for God to live in us, because God is love, and if he's in us, we're going to show that love. That's why you need to always be salt and light, because you've got love, you've got God in you, and let others see that you're different. Before I go, I'm going to taste this, and I know it's delicious. It's hard not to eat with you, talk with your mouth full. Y'all, I think you're going to love that. I'm going to post it today. So if you want it for the Super Bowl game tomorrow night, you'll have time to get the ingredients that you may not have. Hope you have a wonderful day. I love each of you, and please share my page. I'll be back soon.